At 2:30 in the morning, during a winter storm, a 9-year-old girl waited until her parents were asleep. She packed a small backpack. She put on her clothes. She walked out the front door of her home in Shelby, North Carolina. It was raining. The wind was loud. The road ahead was completely dark. She did not scream. She did not run. She walked, and she was never seen again. The question is not who took Asha Degree. The question is why she believed she had to leave. Asha Degree was 9 years old. She lived with her parents and older brother in a quiet neighborhood. There were no signs of abuse, no history of running away, no reason, at least on the surface, for a child to disappear. By every account, Asha was shy, soft-spoken, obedient, the kind of child who followed rules, which is what makes what happened next so difficult to understand. February 14th, 2000. Valentine's Day fell on a Monday that year. The night before, a storm moved through the area. Heavy rain, strong wind, cold air. Inside the Degree home, the family had gone to bed. Nothing seemed unusual. No arguments, no warnings, just an ordinary night. Sometime after midnight, Asha got out of bed. She packed her backpack, and sometime around 2:30 a.m., she left the house on her own. No one heard the door. No one saw her go. By morning, Asha Degree was gone. To understand why Asha Degree walked into the dark that night, you first have to understand who she was. And just as importantly, who she wasn't. Asha lived with her parents, Harold and Aquila Degree, and her older brother. It was a structured home, a protective home. Her parents were involved. They knew where their children were. They enforced rules. This was not a household where a child slipped away unnoticed. Asha was known as a quiet child. She was shy around strangers, soft-spoken at school, the kind of child who avoided attention rather than sought it. She was also known to be afraid of the dark. That detail matters, because children who fear the dark don't normally walk into it alone, especially during a storm. Asha followed routines. She went to school. She came home. She did her homework. She was dependable. There was no pattern of rebellion, no history of sneaking out, no indication she wanted to escape her life. Everything about her behavior pointed inward, not away. This is what makes Asha Degree's disappearance so disturbing. Not because she vanished, but because nothing about her life suggests she would ever leave. And yet, she did. By the early hours of February 14th, Asha Degree was no longer in her home. She was outside, alone. Highway 18 runs just outside Shelby, North Carolina. It is a 2-lane road. No sidewalks. Minimal lighting. In the early morning hours, it was dark, wet, and nearly empty. And somewhere along that road, a small figure was walking south. Shortly after 3:30 a.m., multiple motorists reported seeing a young girl walking along the highway. She was wearing light-colored clothing. She was carrying a backpack. At first, drivers assumed she was a teenager, but as they got closer, they realized she was much younger. One driver became concerned enough to turn his vehicle around. He slowed down. He tried to speak to her. Asha ran. She left the road, disappearing into the dark woods beside the highway. This was not the reaction of a child seeking help. It was the reaction of a child trying not to be found. That single action changes everything. It tells us Asha was alive, alert, and intentionally avoiding contact. She was not wandering. She was moving with purpose. After that moment, there were no more confirmed sightings. No sounds, no calls for help, just rain, darkness, and a road that led nowhere. By the time the rain stopped, Asha Degree was already gone. The night had ended. Morning had arrived. Inside the Degree household, the day began like any other. Asha's parents expected to wake their children for school, but when they went to check on her, Asha wasn't there. Her bed was empty. At first, they assumed she was somewhere else in the house. Then they noticed the door, unlocked. Her backpack was missing. So was her coat. In that moment, confusion turned into fear. Asha had not wandered off. She had left, and no one knew where she had gone. Her parents called for help immediately. Family members, neighbors, anyone who could assist. Cars drove the nearby roads. People checked yards and ditches. The storm had washed away footprints. The night had erased any clear trail. But the urgency was undeniable. A 9-year-old was missing. Law enforcement arrived and began organizing a larger search. Dogs were brought in. The area was canvassed. What began as a family emergency quickly became a community one. Everyone was looking for Asha, but as the hours passed, there were no answers, no sign of where she went, no explanation for why she left. Only one certainty remained. Asha Degree had vanished after leaving her home alone in the middle of the night. As the search expanded, investigators focused on one question. If Asha left on her own, where did she go? Search teams concentrated along Highway 18, the same road where motorists had reported seeing a young girl walking hours earlier. Volunteers walked the shoulders. Police searched nearby fields. Dogs were brought in again. This was the last place Asha was known to be alive. About a mile from her home, searchers discovered a small roadside shed. Inside, they found items that did not belong there. Candy wrappers, a pencil, a hair bow, items consistent with those Asha owned. For the first time, there was physical evidence that she had been there, sheltered, briefly, and then gone. The shed confirmed something critical. Asha had made it off the road. She had survived the storm, at least temporarily. This was not a random wandering. She was stopping, hiding, moving forward. Despite the discovery, days passed with no new leads. No witnesses came forward. No additional items were found. The searches grew quieter. Hope did not disappear, but answers did. Investigators began to understand what the family already feared. This was not going to be a quick recovery. Asha Degree had disappeared, and she was not coming back easily. As weeks turned into months, the search for Asha Degree never truly stopped. But the trail she left behind had gone cold. Posters faded. Searches became less frequent. Tips slowed. Asha's family continued waiting, not for closure, but for something, anything. 18 months later, in August of 2001, construction workers made a discovery. It wasn't near Shelby. It wasn't along Highway 18. It was more than 25 miles away. Buried near a rural road, they found a backpack, wrapped in plastic. Inside the backpack were items belonging to Asha Degree, school supplies, personal belongings. The backpack her parents had reported missing the morning she vanished. There was no doubt. It was hers. The condition of the backpack raised immediate questions. It had not been discarded. It had been protected, wrapped carefully, hidden deliberately. Someone had taken the time to conceal it. There were no signs of a struggle, no clear forensic answers, no explanation for how it traveled so far from where Asha was last seen. The backpack confirmed one thing and complicated everything else. Asha Degree was no longer just missing. Her disappearance now carried proof of human involvement. And yet, the person responsible remained invisible. The backpack confirmed what investigators had long suspected. Asha Degree did not simply disappear. Someone, somewhere, knew what happened to her. Over the years, law enforcement followed numerous leads, witness tips, potential sightings, persons of interest. None led to an arrest. The case remained open but unresolved. As time passed, answers did not emerge. Some believe Asha was lured away by someone she trusted. Others believe she encountered the wrong person after leaving home. There are theories involving strangers. There are theories involving planning. But no theory has ever been proven, and none explain everything. Through it all, Asha's parents never stopped searching. They spoke publicly. They cooperated fully. They kept her name alive. For them, time did not heal. It only stretched the question further. Asha Degree's case is unsettling because it resists explanation. A child afraid of the dark walked into a storm. She avoided help. She left evidence, but no answers. Every confirmed fact creates a new contradiction. Someone knows why Asha left her home that night. Someone knows where she went. Until that reason is understood, this case will never truly rest. Asha Degree was 9 years old. She should have grown up. Instead, she became a question the world still cannot answer. If you believe her story deserves answers, share it. Because the longer a name is remembered, the harder it is for the truth to stay buried.